have with us Jumanah Kadri. She's going to be talking about friend of fraud, defacing misinformation and manipulation on social media. Now, a little bit about Jumanah. Jumanah is an information security strategy and performance lead for a leading bank in Abu Dhabi. As an information security professional, Jumanah's primary focus is digital transformation. She has been a facilitating change by working closely with a team of top-notch leadership and management through a set of transformation projects, bringing in innovative projects for customers, convenience, and security as key in the banking domain. Her key expertise is in the area of developing and executing information security strategy, performance KPIs and KRIs, along with engagement in innovation and digital transformation. She holds a master's degree in blockchain and digital currency, and is pursuing a doctorate in the same field. Jumanah is a passionate speaker, presenter, and an acclaimed TV celebrity chef with large social media following, and spends her weekends trying new recipes or in the studio sets. Wow. That sounds yummy also, Jumanah. Now, I'm going to hand the stage over to you. Over to you.
Okay. Good afternoon, all, and thank you, Aditya, for the wonderful introduction. I was just wondered like this much. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Great introduction from your end. It is indeed a great pleasure to be part of this Rocheston Reinvent conference, and especially when it is for the women and by the women. And just to start off with, like, we live in an era. We live and learn on a digital platform. Everything we do, like if you think about 6 months before, the so-called neighbors who are very close to us, the so-called colleagues who sit very close to us have all moved far, and we have so many people from far coming very close to us. Even today in this virtual event, I'm e-meeting you all, and I'm very much pleased and happy that I got an opportunity. Why this topic triggered me, or what triggered me to talk about today's topic, is that a group of moms, like including me, I'm a mom of two, we're discussing about the pros and cons of the e-learning. So a couple of moms I heard were telling like they feel very relieved that they don't have to worry about their kids when they just go out to the school until the time they are back to home because of the criminals out there. And they are feeling very safe, secure, and happy giving the device to the kid for the e-learning, and they're just locked in a room from morning till evening, might be 4 to 5. I was just thinking, are we not thinking about the cyber criminals out there? We as millennials are very lucky that we are seeing this transition from the physical world to the cyber world. But many a times we tend to forget that the threats also had got this transition. The threats outside there are still there. I should say that most stronger in the cyber world. So we tend to forget ourselves, and we tend to forget to train our kids or the closed ones that we are not feeling safe online, but we should be vigilant always. So that's what triggered me to the topic. I know it's pretty long introduction, but I didn't want to make this presentation so much of a technical jargon. But yes, I wanted to communicate what we have to be looking about, or how we have to be communicating. Many social media profiles we are using, we are not just communicating about what is happening in our family, but we need to ensure that we are communicating what is right and what is wrong when considering cyber world. So just thinking about a business aspect of cybersecurity and how in our day-to-day life, it's very, very important. So friend of fraud, defacing misinformation and manipulation on social media. And why particularly I chose this topic, yes, Aditya have already mentioned in the introduction. It is because of the two phases I handle in my life. As a cybersecurity professional and as a chef, a passionate chef. So I share my recipes, my thoughts. I interact with the people who watch my shows through my Facebook and other social media platforms. I have almost like 150K plus followers there. And am I really concerned about what steps I'm taking? And am I really secure there? That is something which I need to be thinking, and that's something which everyone have to be thinking. So I thought, okay, today I'll make a little more of a business value at a personal level, at organizational level, the presentation I'm talking about. Going forward, the agenda, it's not that a big one. An introduction to social media frauds, many of which you might have heard in different, but just a reminder. What are the motives of the fraudsters? What are the like online scams? And organizational and personal impact, because many a times the cybersecurity events and many a times the presentations are all focused on an enterprise or organizational level. What about the ladies out there? What about the kids out there? What about the children out there who just consider cybersecurity as one professional course they can look forward to? No. We have to take cybersecurity as a day-to-day routine. We have to be secured in each and every actions we take online. So I hope this will trigger a reminder to all the cybersecurity professionals and e-meeting today to think about how we need to have an awareness about the common scams around. This should have been an interactive session. I missed that, but still, might be you people can just have some little tiny notes for me to share the thoughts towards the end of the presentation. This is one question I'm damn sure like everyone will be jumping to answer. What social media accounts do you have? Yes. But one thing to think about, is it necessary to be on social media? If someone asks you, is it necessary to be on social media? You may tend to say no. But yes, I agree. For many of us, it is yes. It might be for personal reason or it might be for the business needs. But what is a real concern point? How well do you really know your abundance of social media friends? The digital contents, looking into the set of regulations, sentiments, analyzing the individual actions and all can give a real world risk intelligence about a person or the person working within an organization. So usually the territory of attackers, it lies on a reconnaissance, weaponization, and the delivery methods they plan. But that territory is something which we cannot go into. But there is one territory within us. We can control only our territory by identifying, by mitigating the existing vulnerabilities and reducing the risk. At an enterprise level or organization level, we always do find out the vulnerabilities and risks. But at personal level, are we thinking about it? What is a key vulnerability when considering the social media friends? It is just an emotion-driven acceptance, right? Many of us tend to we cannot stop from saying no. Yes. We tend to say yes just because we cannot say no to someone when introducing themselves as friend of friend or relative's friend. That inhibition is the vulnerability many attackers out there are using when considering social media, of course. Fraudsters' motives. It's very basic, very key, but very well, it needs to be included in all the awareness for people to know. It's not just one motive they have. Yes, of course, financial. All the scams, ultimate goal would be for money or financial. The propaganda. The propaganda is something that a communication which is primarily used to influence a large number of audiences. This is very familiar for many of us as well. Even this have several stages like reconnaissance, where they collect the data, weaponization, delivery, how they exploit, the persistence, and the key one, or the one which we miss, is how they remove the traces. We as common man take it ahead. Defamation. Defamation is usually what we say about a common defamation. Cyber defamation is no difference, has no difference from a common defamation. It's a false statement that may affect or impact, intentionally impacting someone with a false statement. It unjustly harmed them, and it's again for financial motive, for competitive advantage, for personal advantages. These are three motives, or key motives we need to identify, we need to understand, we need to keep in our mind. That fraudsters are acting a scam or attempting a scam. The advance fee scam. From the name itself, it's very clear. Advance fee scam. Someone is asking for an advance fee. The scam typically starts with the scammer asking for an advance fee or advance payment. So it's a scam that typically involves promising the victim a significant share of a large sum of money. That significant share is the attraction where most of us, like a common man, falls into the scam. In return for a small upfront payment, we tend to take a small risk to get a high fortune at the end or on the other side. On the other side, we feel like, okay, it's just a small payment that we are going to transfer and we are going to win something big. But is it small? We really have to think about it. The modern day financial scams or frauds can be traced back to 18th century Spanish prisoner scam or the letter from Jerusalem scam, where it have moved far ahead with advanced technology and many a times from letter to email through the channels of social media. The modern day advancement is one of the most common type of confidence that these scammers are using. At an organizational level, they use brand misuse, excessive impersonation, domain abuse scams, and competitive advantage. The advance fee scam have become so sophisticated from the old 18th century 419 fraud. That is very much clear, and that's what the recent Twitter scam have taught all of us, all the cybersecurity professionals out there. Yes, the recent Twitter scam. It's very familiar to the crowd might be, but just to brush it across. On 15th July 2020, a targeted small number of employees, Twitter have already confirmed that perpetrators had gained access to Twitter's administrative tools, which let them alter the accounts and tweet directly. They appear to have used social engineering to gain the access to the tools and tweet. They did some tweets. As you can see, they selected high profiles and they tweeted like, if you, we are going to give back your money doubled if you send so and so Bitcoins to a digital currency valley. They promised this as a gesture of charitable gesture. Within minutes of the initial tweets, around 320 transactions happened. And to one digital valley, the transaction reached up to US dollar of 110,000. The accounts promised were all high profile. That is one key part the attackers used here to gain the trust. So one vulnerability within us is we trust the people out there. As I have started from my introduction, how the mothers were feeling so relieved to leave their kid online, like 8 hours. And they felt it was like the criminals out there when they travel to school was more dangerous. So I just thought, like, even though many of us know, just to brush up some of the common online financial scams. The first one is domain abuse. Domain is an important asset. Sometimes we tend to forget that. There are several ways in which the proprietors can abuse the company. It can be like a domain name hijacking. The perpetrators try to hijack the domain name. The web server takeover, or the domain name abuse. But here, to this context, I feel domain name abuse is more relevant because it's an infringement to your IP, intellectual property. There are several possible scenarios again, like typo-squatting, domain registration under TLD, changing the country code TLD, changing the CCTLD to a local TLD, and so much. So depending upon how they are planning in their territory, the attacker's territory, the domain abuse is happening. Beneficiary fund scam. This is something that comes with the so-called quote, "I have a family fortune." And the scammers present some type of story that they have money, which is owned by their family, and they need to pay some upfront fee to get it released. Otherwise, the government will take it over, and the scammer will promise that I'll be paying half of it to you. Again, that small payment and huge return. That is a risk, or that is a vulnerability within every one of us that is getting utilized here in the scam as well. It's slightly different, romance scam. The romance scam pulls the strings of our heart. It usually happens when people go into this internet dating sites and chat rooms, where the person asks, build up a story that some relative is sick and they want to pay for them, or they want to take a flight to meet in person. But if he cannot afford himself to take a flight ticket to meet the loved one, I don't know who's falling into this scam. The fake job offer. I think we need to be, this fake job offer is something we all as cybersecurity professional have to be giving awareness to the public, especially in this pandemic scenario where we know people are urging to get something. So most of the cases, it's because of the uploading of resumes in different job sites. Sometimes through LinkedIn also such scams happen, or LinkedIn can be some place where they get the details of the applicants that we are open for recruitment or something like that. The scammer will send a falsified letter with a nice company logo which looks very trustworthy, and the offer will usually indicate exceptional salary and benefit and request the victim that you need a work permit, and somebody so-called government professional or government or the agents or something like that. They'll just build up story, government official or something, and then they'll be contacted to pay some fee or some payment for this work permit, and then they take it forward and the company does not exist anymore. And sometimes this happens where these freelancers are also pulled to the scam. They will be offered to some contract, but before offering the contract, they will be asked to pay some advance fee. The investment scam. This is like asking an investment upfront, some money, and then it will look so from a government investment company with all the letterhead and details, and then the PII data is requested, a blank check, company details, company letterhead, everything is requested from the from whom it is targeted, from the target, and the attacker utilizes it and take it forward. The next is a Nigerian letter or the 419 fraud. This is what we have had a glimpse before. This is where everything started. The advance fee and the impersonation all together, like in past 18th century scam or 419 fraud, where there was letters coming from Nigeria asking like, I am a government employee here, or I am a government official here. I want to transfer some money illegally out of Nigeria. If you can help me out for some upfront payments, and then they ask for this advance fee. Sextortion. This is something more of identifying, or this is little more different from an advance fee one. Here it is a threat to release. They threat you to release some amount. This is by using videos or images captured to then extort the compliance from a victim. It is different from other scams, as I've already told. But here the awareness needs to be more focused on reporting of sextortion crimes while acting responsibly online. So earlier, like pre-COVID scenario, where we were like not letting everyone to be online all the time, this scam was there, but it was more on how we were acting responsibly or how we were acting irresponsibly online. But now, since we have all these meetings happening through video calls, children tend to put their meeting invites in a public platforms. They tend to share the password, meeting invites, everything. So people are getting the movements recorded. Earlier, it was just picture they get, and they and children doesn't know how to respond to it. When they get a blackmail or when they get a warning from the attacker, they feel that, okay, they have have to handle it by themselves. So we need to educate. We need to educate how to respond if we are pulled to such scams, and we need to have, we need to understand this. Even though we act responsibly online, sometimes it may be, we may be a target of for sextortion. So we need to give clear-cut awareness to our generation, next generation, the coming up generations, how to respond responsibly. The lottery scam, as you all know, it's that lucky winner scam. It comes in different ways, that you have won car, you have won something, and you have to pay some advance tax or payment. You have to do some registration, your PII data is taken, your bank account details are taken, and you end up with nothing. The cash handling scam. This is also a slightly different scam from the advance fee scam, because here it's not about the advance fee, but here you're pulled unknowingly. It's a type of a fake job offer scam. Here you're pulled unknowingly to a money laundering scam. What happens is that you apply for the attacker. This is something like an impersonation one. The attacker will identify from the social media platforms or from other platforms the hiring manager's name, detail, photo, everything. And they create fake profiles there. They send out for the applicants, they send out the job offer letter. They ask them to join. They start the job. They'll give some money and they'll ask them to collect money from outside, and this will be asked to put in different overseas accounts. So here they are utilizing the vulnerability of this person to do the due diligence before joining the firm, and then he's pulled to a money laundering team or gang. The advance fee scam process life cycle. This looks very tough, but it's very simple. Now, most of you all be knowing, but we need to have an awareness about how it is taken forward by attackers. The first step is the data collection. The collection of information about target organization or the target at a personal level, if we are talking about. The research, collecting data by dumpster diving or website scanning, finding information on the internet. So how we can reduce that? Reduce our internet footprints. That's only step there. Gathering information from employees of the target organization, etc. And how at an organization level they can be to have some social media policy in place. Target selection. The attacker selects the target among the employees, and usually they target the frustrated employees who have resigned, and so on. A relationship building. The relationship phase includes creating a relationship with the target in the way that it cannot be identified the intention. They'll just start. There will be 3 common connections before they start, before the target is being asked to join, and they create a trust level. The more trust level between the target and the attacker, it's very easy for the attacker to get the information from the target. That's the trust factor is what they exploit. And then they exploit of relationship by collection of sensitive information such as the username, password, internet information, etc. In advance fee scam, what we need to look for. This we all are very much familiar, I know, but this is one key thing we can include in all our awareness programs. The possible dimensions. The 2 key possible dimensions are, is it too good to believe? Then it is a risk. Are they asking for an advance fee? Yes, then again it's a risk. Then what else? We need to know at a personal level, we need to know who you are doing the business with. Some due diligence and background checks. Let the attackers not only check or do this process of research. Let us start doing it vice versa. Let's start doing the due diligence. Let's start checking the background. Observe their approach. If there is any agreement, understand it. Always during the scam, there is an urge they put onto you. Within 24 hours, I have to act, so you have to act as well. So you may be busy with something else, and you tend to just sign on in anything and everything that is shared. Because they are building this trust. If you go back to the previous slide, they are building the trust. So ensure any contract, you know what it is. Ensure that there is a direct contact details in place. Just Google if that person is having only this account. If that person is not having any trace back on what he or she was doing previously, then it's all fake. It is something that is built just to target you. So just to emphasize on the possible dimensions, if it is too good to believe, if they're asking for advance fee, then yes, it is of high risk. This is something we need to ensure, everyone, including me. How's the privacy settings on social media? Who need to see a picture? Who need to see? And especially if your kid is having a device, if he is going out to play every day, like say 4 to 5, with the device, ensure that the location map setting is off. We don't want the attacker sitting outside to know his movement. We don't want them to target and draw a map where he will be going and what he'll be doing out there. And we don't want every single moment to be pasted. Previously in one of the awareness campaign, I heard people saying this, and I felt that it is very much required for children to know that it's not good to have every moment selfie in your page, Facebook, or whatever platform. The steps that can be taken towards fake profiles at a personal level. So there are in this slide, there are two things I want to communicate. One is when you identify, how to identify it and how to remove. And in the how to identify, sometimes it may be fake profiles of us. As a cybersecurity professional, somebody might have created a profile of yours. Or you might have come across some fake profiles, which you know from as a cybersecurity professional, you understood that's a fake profile. What you have to do or how you can identify. As I've mentioned already, reverse search is the best method. They came searching or researching to us. So why not we do a backward search? Keep an eye of every contact. They're demanding anything, they're urging for something, it's not good. They're painting any good story or any sentiments, it's not good. Google them. That is a method you can use to identify, clear cut, crisp. And how to remove? Directly report to the service provider. This is very much very important. Reporting to the service provider is our social responsibility as well. We as cybersecurity professionals or our children, since we have been training them from childhood, might be knowing how to identify the fake profiles out there. But there are people out there who cannot. So this fake profile, okay, once you leave them, you manually block them or you manually remove them, you are leaving one opportunity for them to another person, or you are leaving the attacker with another target. Don't do that. Social responsibility, remove, directly report it to the service provider, ensure it is removed. You can do the manually blocking and removing from your end as well. And what if your profile? So sorry guys, I was just I'm not sure when I got dropped. So I'll just re-emphasize on the points on the organizational impact, the reputational loss, the brand abuse, the impact to business, financial losses, and aggravated customers. Here I was emphasizing on the regulatory requirements also. If the customer data is lost, then again it will loop back to financial and impact to business and regulatory non-compliance. From the brand protection in the digital age, what are the common scams happening? The domain abuse, the brand misuse, negative social mentions, and excessive impersonation. How we can mitigate this? The mitigation plan should include a threat awareness to employees and customers. Usually we tend to just give fraud awareness, but we need to have or ensure that proper threat awareness is also given, both to the employees and to our customers. Social media policy. This is very important. Employees should clearly know what they can paste or what they can post on the social media. And also what or how they should follow once they are leaving the organization. Build specialized team to monitor, detect, and respond. The response part is something which is key. We tend to always talk about protection part, but how to respond properly, that's key as well. There should be continuous monitoring. Continuous monitoring, I have marked the EOEs, IOEs, IOWs, IOAs, dark web, deep web, and the surface web. The indicators of exposures. The weaknesses that are publicly visible on social media or some of our websites or something is what is these indicators of exposures. And that will show us or indicate some threat. The indicators of warning. These are the data points across the internet that would be considered as a suspicious piece. Like it can be a registration of any lookalike domain of a company. The indicators of attack, these are the attributes that contribute to the attack architecture by the attacker. Like there will be some mobile app or some malware specific to your organization. And you need to ensure that you have a clear, thorough policy in place, how to respond, and you have a clear plan on the response as well. Then you need to prioritize the alert. It's not easy to monitor everything. And as I've told in the previous slide, if security vendors there, it's their responsibility to ensure all IOCs are monitored. And we need to maximum try reduce the takedown times. Steps to take down excessive fake profiles and fraudulent domains. If you find that one of your organization's executive is impersonated, what to do? Detection across all media platforms is essential. Leverage sophisticated technologies like AI and advanced image analysis. Once you see that the human intervention and timely reporting is very much required for that, at an organizational level, you need to have an authorized personnel who have the authority to report and get it or take it down. And fraudulent domains. Identify the registrar and the hosting provider if you identify that you have a fraudulent domain out there. Ensure that the content is deactivated. Contact the abuse team. Collaborate with CSIRTs if required. And take it forward. Fake news, how propagandists manipulate the public. So we have covered the first part of the agenda, the motive, which is mainly financial one. And we covered all the online scams. We covered the advance fee scams at the organizational, at the personal level, and how we respond to it. Moving on, let's see about the fake news. What is fake news? It is fabricated information that mimics news media content in form, but not in organizational process or intent. When talking about this fake news, the fake news itself is not the agenda of the attacker. The agenda of the attacker is the so-called propaganda. So the fake news triangle, which is by Trend Micro, they have a white paper on this. Many of you might be already familiar about it, have 3 dimensions: the social networks, the motivation, tools, and service. If any of these 3 dimensions are not available, this propaganda would not achieve their goal. And this have become so much a problem because of the social media platforms and the current scenario, because a very small circle of people are able to manipulate and influence a larger crowd. Usually in this fake profile, in the propaganda, there will be a cyber propaganda campaign which is planned by some people out there. And there will be a gray legitimate tools and service providers in the second layer. And there will be a content consumers on the third layer. So the connection between consumers to the gray layer will never take it to the planning layer. So that is the underground layer is always safe and clean. That is one main reason for propaganda. And we individuals have a small part in that, on taking everything we see on social media. If it is coming with a large hashtag and large people following, yes, we tend to follow that. And that is created by some chatbots, and there are technologies for that. As technologies are getting sophisticated, so do the attackers. The attackers and the people who are trying to protect have an imbalance. We have something to protect. They have nothing to protect. So the technology has made it hard and tough to take it forward and protect ourselves. The cyber defamation, just like normal defamation, it's an online abuse you do to someone to defame them and you gain something. It might be financial, it might be competitive advantage, and it might be some personal grudge. Defamation through a virtual media, whatever the intention is, there is an impact on the person on the other hand. And why during and post-pandemic, why there is increased relevance to this topic. The increased cyber attack, the increased cyber fraud. In a report, it said that 348% of cyber fraud increases seen during the pandemic season. Higher risk of online threat. This post-COVID arena, coupled with all the new normal, with the social media platform, with people going everything online, have increased the risk of online threat. Significant increase in cybercrime against women. So this needs to be definitely taken to this Rocheston Reinvent for Cybersecurity for Women. That's what I felt. I hope you also had some points to take or carry forward after this presentation. And there is a stat that says that more women or 50% of women have been facing cyber stalking, cyber harassment, non-consensual pornography, especially when I told the videos on, you have video conferencing around and you have your video images and your videos going to an attacker. It's more harm. And catfishing. As a summary, there is only two solutions for this. Awareness. Increase the awareness. The key quote is, nothing comes free. There are three key points or the territory for any attack. A motive, capability, opportunity. Motive and capability is in the attacker's territory. We cannot go there. Prevention is not possible. But yes, protection, identifying, protecting, detecting, mitigating, responding is possible. So the motive and capability is on the attacker's territory, but opportunity is in our territory. So never leave any opportunity open. Let us make this awareness to the people out there, to our colleagues, to our friends, and to our kids and to our children. And at an organizational level also, it's very important to make our customers aware about it, our employees aware about it. Early detection is key, timely response, and staying vigilant. Thank you all, and do connect me through LinkedIn if I can support you in anything. Thank you so much.
I have a lot of questions from the audience. So I'm going to start off with the first one. Is there a way to prevent phishing attacks or to identify them when I receive such an email?
Yes, do. For phishing attacks, there is a key to remember. If there is an information given which is too good to believe, and if there is if it is from a known entity, for example, if it's from your own organization, on the email or on the domain, there will be something that typo spotting, as we have told. There will be some difference in the email or the domain name or something. Try to identify that. Secondly, if there is a link in the email body asking you for further details, click. It is a phishing email. These two are the key points as a common man or a layman to understand. Or if in case accidentally you clicked, you need to ensure that you report the SOC of your organization. And at a personal level, let's talk about a social media platform. You tend to get that, yeah, you have, it's your birthday, your friend wants to wish you happy birthday. Please click on the below link to see the so-called birthday greetings or something. Never ever try clicking the link from unknown people outside there. That's the key to remember. Yes.
Next question is it difficult, or what are the steps to take to identify a fake job offer? Because isn't it difficult to identify a fake job offer? Because sometimes they can be very legitimate.
Very much, very much. I totally agree on that. So shall I take you or walk through one slide which will help on this?
Oh.
Yes, this is also this slide. Am I displaying the slide? Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, this is one slide which talks about that also indirectly. The first thing we can do is that we can check, we know what our caliber is. We know what the job we have applied for, how much we get paid for that, right? We know the general trend. If it is too good an offer, it's a fake one. Secondly, you can do a reverse search. You can search for the company. You can try searching for the same method how the attackers use. You can try searching for the hiring managers of that company through LinkedIn or other social platforms. And then you can try if there is one or more fake profiles appearing or one or more profiles appearing for the same name and same organization. You can look for professionals on the same organization You can try sending message to one or two you feel like. If you're, for example, if you're recruited as a risk monitoring role or something like that, you can just try someone in the common profile, just message and say, hi there, I got an offer here, do you know about it? That is one method. Once you already got the offer, you can always keep an eye. And the one key point to remember, if they are asking an advance fee, no organization is, they can ask you any fee for your job. It's illegal to ask any fee for your job. So if there is an advance fee, if they're asking you to share your bank account details and all the details before any procedure for your visa, or if in UAE, or if in India, might be before you are enrolled to the organization, if they're asking too much of PII data, if they are asking some security deposit or something like that, these are all indicators which shows that this is something fishy, this is not good. So these things, reverse search is the best way to identify a fake profile. And we can do how attackers doing. Just go back to the company profile. There will be, even in the company websites, there will be names of the people like whom you can try looking for if they are in mutual connection with the person who contacted you. And since social media is open for attackers and for you, you can use some sort of a reverse engineering there.
Okay. Thank you for the very, very in-depth answer. The next question is, you said cybersecurity awareness. I agree. Whose responsibility is it? The government, parents, or schools?
I should say that at an organizational level, it's organization's responsibility. At government level, yes, government is doing as much as possible, even when considering like UAE or India, like anywhere in the world, government is doing cyber security awareness, cyber fraud awareness, especially during this pandemic scenario. I have seen awareness also have increased along with the attacks also. And it's school's responsibility as well. But what is key? What if our kid is not behaving good? Just we'll just sit that, okay, let them learn from the school or let the government teach them. No, right? We try to teach them and we try to pave the right path for them. We teach them what is good touch, what is bad touch. We teach them who are the criminals outside there. We teach them how to walk to the school or go to the school. We teach them how to behave with the friends of opposite sex. And why we are not teaching them when there is so much of a cyber threat out there? Why we as parents are not taking some small, tiny precautionary steps? So if the question is from a mother or a dad, yes, I would say that we as parents also have some responsibility on that.
Okay, great. Last question before I let you go. Why is the government not taking safe measures to protect teenagers from social media bullying? For example, in the United States, the First Lady Melania Trump has an anti-cyberbullying campaign. It is a joke, no progress at all. So what is your view on this?
On the particular case, I don't have much to say about, but
government is not taking a more active role in preventing cyberbullying, I would say.
But here, yes, in India, yes, in UAE, yes, their government is taking role on cyberbullying. Not only cyberbullying, like on any actions you take on cyber area or any post you make, you have to be very careful about. I think from my perspective, government is taking huge steps on these awareness on the cyberbullying, on how to protect yourself online. But we, as I've told in the initial presentation, we as millennials are many a times forgetting to train from beginning that we have moved from the physical world to virtual. We are still there in a phase of thinking that it will all turn back to the physical world. I don't know when we will realize that it's not going to be the case. Post pandemic also, I feel more things are going to be like on the e-platform, as how I am meeting you all, e-meeting you all. We become so close just through one call, two call, not like before where you just see someone outside for 3-4 hours and just forget that person. So the threat landscape is increasing a lot. So we need to have create an alert within our family members, within our friends, and all cybersecurity professionals should start talking about the layman language. I feel so much of technical jargons is what is putting this as just only a career path.
Okay. Thank you for that, Jumanah. Now I think we are out of questions as well. So thank you so much. We look forward to having you for our future conferences as well. Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you. Thank you. Be safe. Thank you. Bye.